And we are live. How's it going, Mets and overall baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel, guys. We have a lot to get into as the Metropolitans take their first series of their 6-game homestand here against the Philadelphia Phillies, taking games 1, in which I was in attendance yesterday, now taking game 2 of Carrasco on the bump with another really strong outing, 2 consecutive now for Cookie, as the Mets take game 2 and the series by a final score of 4-1. We have a lot to get into. I'm going to share my raw reactions and recap to this game, innings 1 through 9, what I liked, maybe what I didn't like about this team from the live that we saw, to the offense, to the pitching, a lot to get into. But more than anything, before I do, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone first chiming in live or on replay. Shout out all my members in Yoshima, others. Also shout out to my great sponsors at MLB that we'll be getting into shortly on a giveaway and a giveaway winner announcement that will be happening tomorrow, and then letting you guys know about a future giveaway as well. Mojo Sportsbook and Mantis Sleep, but more on them later. More than anything, the only thing I want to get into right now, guys, is talking about this series W. So do me a favor and spam those W's in the live chat down below. Now, for everyone watching live, let me see it. Spam them right now. For people in comments on replay, the same applies. Spam those W's, guys. You love to see it. The Mets, again, if there's one thing that we know about this Metropolitan team, they have been not great on the road, and they've had a lot of road games this year. However, at home, especially as of late, they have really performed well. The Mets have won, if I'm not mistaken, the Mets have won 7 straight home games, right? Because they won to the first 2 games against the Rays. Then they went and swept the Guardians in 3. Now they won their first 2 against Philly, because in between that time was when they had their road trip. So the Mets have done really, really well at home, and that showed again in tonight's outing. And great pitching again. I cannot emphasize enough how awesome it has been to see Carrasco now have 2 straight outings, which he's looking absolutely stellar. Exactly what you want from Cookie in that number 4, number 5 spot of the rotation. A lot of positives to get into, and again, very happy to be breaking down this ball game for you all. Appreciate everyone watching live and on replay. Really does mean a lot. And I'm going to be honest with you guys too. I did not have a good day today. There's a lot of things personally going on in my life that, I'm not going to go on my way to share, but I just want you guys to know that every single time that I come on here, I get to talk shop all things Mets with you. It really does help fill the void quite a bit. So seriously, thank you guys all so much for the endless support. I want you to know that it is never taken for granted, and I'm always humbled and grateful to be in the position that I am. Especially, I didn't even get to really share my experience from being in attendance last night, which was awesome. Great seats per usual. Shout out to my good friend Dan for the hookup. Had a lot of you guys come up to me as well in person, which I'm always humbled and appreciative of. Also, shout out to Chris, who I know works at Citi Field, who really started getting into the Mets and started working there because of following my content and watched them and get into them a lot more. So that was great to hear. A lot of people came up to me. I'm always humbled about that. And yeah, just really, really shout out every single one I met yesterday for the first time, or people that I have met before and ran into again. It is always a privilege. And again, now I'm 4-0 at Citi Field this year, and the Mets take the dub in game 2 today. So let's get into it. But again, happy to have all you beauties in here as we're breaking down another night, another series W. Let's see. The Mets are 15-0 when they are leading after 8 innings. Yeah, the Mets have won. I'm pretty sure the stat goes far beyond that, far beyond this season, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, overall, it's been great. When the Mets are leading past the 8th inning, you love it. Thankfully, you go from Edwin Diaz, even though he's out with injury all year, to now David Robertson, and he's shutting the door really, really well too, which is huge, because D-Rob has come in here and been the saving grace for this Mets bullpen. Where would they be without him? Having that consistent closer whenever the Mets call upon him. Again, it was a little shaky in there that we saw in the 9th, but he was able to get out of that jam unscathed, as we saw Brooks Raley do a great job himself in the 7th. We saw Cookie do a great job in the 6th. The Mets pitchers did a great job tonight on working out of these jams, and that is exactly what you like to see. So without further ado, let's talk shop. Let's talk about this series dub. But before I do, I have to let you guys all know, of course, because one of our great sponsors is that being at MLB. And for those that don't know what MLB is the best MLB fantasy game out there. You guys know they've been great partners on the channel, will continue to do so. You enter weekly tournaments by drafting your own team the same way that you would do in any MLB fantasy game, any sports fantasy game. You sign up, you don't have to spend a dime to play. You enter weekly tournaments, you win awesome different, either it's cash prizes of hundreds of thousands of dollars, merchandise, having VIP access to meet your favorite MLB players, even guys on the Mets, and so much more. You get all these great gifts. And now what we're doing with MLB over the past month and for the month of June, as we are doing our own tournaments for MLB, our own Wardy League. And in doing so, by you guys entering the Wardy MLB League, you are automatically entered. Let's see here. Give me one second, because this thing is deciding not to load for me. When you enter through So Rare MLB using my So Rare MLB League, you guys will have a chance to win a Brett Beatty jersey, and we are doing the Brett Beatty jersey giveaway tomorrow. Now, I've told you guys about the jersey giveaway quite a bit already, and here it is. Again, we're doing it tomorrow. We've had hundreds of you guys already sign up. Join Wardy's So Rare MLB League by clicking the link in the description of this live stream right now, watching live or on replay, and we're going to be picking one random winner, in which I'll be making the announcement tomorrow on socials, on the community tab, and also in tomorrow's post-game show or podcast, whichever one. So be on the lookout for that. I might be picking one random person that signed up. That, again, all you had to do to enter, and today's your final night to enter, guys, is by clicking the link in the description, signing up to So Rare MLB, drafting your team, entering weekly tournaments, and you will have a shot at winning a Brett Beatty jersey. Again, the giveaway will be tomorrow, officially announced on every platform that we have here on WardyNYM. And then once that giveaway is done, we'll be doing another jersey giveaway, and it shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out who we're talking about then. So shout out to So Rare MLB for being a great sponsor, and make sure to sign up using my link in the description, and of course being a part of Wardy's unique So Rare MLB League. But now let's get into talking about this Mets game. Starting to dislike Buck playing Vogelback, and I will say this, I'm as many of you guys probably saw on social media today, I had a lot of fun playing baseball with my buddies prior to the game today, and I looked at them, I'm like, it would be hilarious if I just posted a video of me standing there and taking strikes, even though some of them were balls, because my buddy was unable to throw a BP right down the pipe to me. Regardless, the point was to kind of, mock Vogie, because he was in the starting DH position today. Vogelback has not been performing well, and I will give credit where credit's due. While I'm not happy that Vogelback got reps over Mark Vientos today, nor was I happy that Tomas Nido started over Alvarez, even though it's a little bit more justified, because Alvarez is started every day. Nido is going to get at least one game or two in prior to him likely being DFA'd or traded once Omar Narvaez returns the next week, and Omar Narvaez had at least 2 hits today in rehab in AAA, so that's definitely a good sign too. But the point stands, Vogelback did what he did best today, and he got on base multiple times, and both times that he got on base, he was able to score a run, and that was important for the Mets and their success tonight. So while I haven't been a lover of Vogie in his recent production, I have no ill will against him. I was doing a simple joke out of that. I know you guys found that funny. Some people got offended, and for the people that got offended by me just standing there and taking strikes like Vogelback, get over it. You're going to be fine, I promise. But now let's talk about this Mets ball game, because like I said, Vogelback, even though I didn't like him starting there, I really want to see Alvarez start, and this was my biggest gripe heading into the lineup tonight, guys. The Mets were looking for the series win tonight, right? And why wouldn't you want to put your best lineup out there for trying to secure the series win versus risking having a subpar lineup in your 7, 8, 9, losing the ball game because of that in hand, and then putting your guys back out for the rubber match when you could have avoided the rubber match if, say, you played Alvarez and Vientos. But again, thankfully, Buck's lineup was enough to get the job done today, so I can't criticize it too much. But the game starts there in the third that we saw with Edmundo Sosa for the Phillies, former Cardinal, now Philly over the past year or so, and he rips a home run to give the Phillies a 1-0 lead there in the third. Then the bottom of the third, Mark Canha with a 2-run ding-dong. Mark Canha has struggled all year and mightily in his limited role, but one thing is certain, whenever he plays the Philadelphia Phillies, he normally crushes baseballs. Let's not forget the great heroics he had, the 2-home-run game, it felt like, right, against the Phillies last year. Just phenomenal stuff in that rally with Jose Buto on the bump. It was a rain delay, a lot was going on, but one thing was certain, Mark Canha was locked in, and he is looking like he's starting to get locked in again, and couldn't come at a better time when the Mets need him to from production in that left field spot, and also doing it against a Philadelphia Phillies team to help you get the series dub is certainly important. So Mark Canha rips a 2-run homer to give the Mets a 2-1 lead, and thankfully they would never look back, because then as we advance to the fourth inning, Alonso with a single, Beatty with a walk, Vogie with a walk, and then Mark Canha again with a 2-run single. He now has a total of Mark Canha. How many RBIs did he have tonight? He had all 4 RBIs. That's correct. So Mark Canha went 2 for 3 tonight with the runs scored and the 4 RBIs. I wasn't able to set up a player of the game in time tonight, but rest assured, it is certainly Mark Canha. Cookie, you can make your own argument there, but Canha was the entire driver of this offense tonight, so he deserves massive credit for that. Huge tip of the cap to him for Canha, who again has not been sharp at all that we've seen thus far this season, and it's great to see him break out here and to help be again a heavy factor as to why the Mets won this ball game and ultimately won this series. And then as we advance a little bit further after the Mets again have a comfortable 4-1 lead, and that would stay true for the remainder of the game. In the 6th, Carrasco works out of a 2-on jam, and that's huge, and he gets the final out there. If I'm not mistaken, actually, no, I think it was the next inning. No less, Brett Beatty had some really, really sharp plays, third base, playing deep at third and getting some key outs on Trey Turner and other base runners, and I think JT Realmuto as well. But when we look at the numbers from Carlos Carrasco tonight, guys, a second straight outing from Cookie in which he looks like an absolute stud. 6 innings of 6 hit ball, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He has a sub-6 ERA on the year. Yes, the ERA isn't pretty, but what is pretty is Carlos Carrasco giving the Mets 2 consecutive starts in which he looks sharp. It feels like that has been so hard to come by from this Mets rotation so far this season. Justin Verlander has yet to pitch 2 consecutive outings of really strong baseball. He's only given you 1 and then a clunker and then 1 and then a clunker. That's how it's been. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And Max Scherzer has been pitching nice as of late, which is great to see. But outside of him, you know, we haven't gotten a lot of consistency. Even Kodai Senga, as great as he was last night, in which I was in attendance, he was not sharp as outing before when he was on the road, right? So it's been up down for the majority of this rotation. But Cookie, if you can start to get innings eaten out of Cookie the way that we're seeing right now, like he was only at an 82 pitch count. He was absolutely sharp. He could have went a 7th inning if the Mets wanted to do it, but they opted to go with Brooks Raley. And while it was a little shaky there in the 7th, Raley would get out of his own mess by working out of a 2-on, 2-out jam and getting Trey Turner out with a ground out. A great throw by Beatty to get the speedster out at first to end the inning. In the bottom of the 7th, Tomas Nido, again, his first start in forever, coming back from his dry eye syndrome. Again, I like Nido, nothing personal, but he's one of those guys where I don't see a chance in hell that he's on this roster once Narvaez returns within the next week or so. If so, enlighten me on how that's going to happen, because Francisco Alvarez, the best hitting catcher, the best overall catcher in baseball right now for the past month, for the entire month of May, there has been no better catcher statistically, WRC plus wise, OPS plus wise, than Francisco Alvarez. So there's no way to justify Alvarez going anywhere, right? You know, Narvaez has untapped potential with the Mets. I especially like him as a catcher that hits decent from the left side of the plate. So he's going to do well with matchups there. And for those reasons, that's why Nido's tenure with the Mets is likely coming to an end. However, Nido did hit a little bit of a bloop single there up the middle, or maybe it was center left. I could be wrong, but he gets his first and only hit of the night. That's all she wrote, though. The Mets don't do much more. Then as we advance further, Raley gets an out, and then Adam Ottavino comes in for the final 2 outs to work a scoreless 8th. Great teamwork there by the boys. And then David Robertson comes in. So on back-to-back nights where you needed D-Rob, where you needed Adam Ottavino, they were able to give you those outs. And again, D-Rob got in himself in a jam too, had 2 on, 2 out there, but was able to get out of his own mess. That was the most impressive thing with the Mets tonight pitching-wise. They were able to get out of their own jams. And then hitting-wise, like I said, not flashy. The Mets only had 5 hits today. They had an expecting batting average tonight of only 172. Aaron Nola overall, he gave up 4 earned, but if it wasn't for Marcana, wasn't terrible tonight. Had 3 walks, and that hurt him too, because Vogelback, of course, was able to take advantage of that. And again, give credit where credit's due. Vogelback, he's not hitting right now, but he was a factor in tonight's win. So I'm not going to sit here and criticize him and say, oh my God, this guy's an absolute bum. No, if you're contributing and you're a factor into the team's success, I'm always going to be rooting for you. It doesn't change the fact that, of course, I still want to see Mark Vientos get consistent reps at the DH position. Otherwise, there's no point of even having the kid up with the team. It's as simple as that. And the same applies with Alvarez, and thankfully Alvarez has been getting a lot of playing time. But this is the lineup when you see it tonight. Again, not pretty, nothing flashy at all. You didn't get anything from Alonso aside from his 1 single that led to a run scored. You got nothing from Nimmo, who hasn't fared well in his career against Aaron Nola. You got nothing from Lindor, and the list goes on and on. Not a lot of production there. Brett Beatty, of course, had that run scored thanks to the walk. But hopefully, I'm really hoping tomorrow that even with the day game, give me Alvarez, give me Vientos, give me Beatty, put them all in the lineup, please. Let's see what happens. That'll be a key matchup against former friend, now foe, and Taijuan Walker. I'll always love Ty and appreciate him. Former Mets pitcher, as you guys know, over the past couple of years. He's facing off tomorrow against Mad Max Scherzer. That'll be a very interesting pitching matchup. The Mets are looking for their first series sweep against the Phillies in their first series against them this year. And boy, oh boy, would that be a great start to what we saw, a continuation of last year, where every time the Mets played the Phillies, they just kicked their teeth in. And so far, so good. Phillies offense is flat right now. As I say that, they'll probably break out against Max tomorrow. But I got to say, you know, the potential of actually getting a series sweep tomorrow is definitely important. And hopefully the Mets can try to make that come to fruition, as they are now 2 games above 500, while we see the Braves. I'd imagine they've won tonight, or they're going to win. But the Braves managed to lose their series against the Oakland A's, which is just so jaw-dropping to me. The only reason why I bring that up is because the Oakland A's are on pace to have one of the worst seasons in MLB history. And so Sean Murphy and Matt Olson, who are on your team, that being in the Braves, somehow dropped their first 2 games. It was unbelievable. But again, the Mets are gaining ground quickly in the standings. For those that like to do the standings watch early in the season, we're only like 60 games in, so it really doesn't mean much at all. But however, it's always nice to see again when you see a team at the top of the division start to lose a little bit, and your favorite team, that being the Mets, here start to win. And the Phillies, of course, are multiple games below 500. So hopefully they can continue to rack up these wins, that being the Mets, and get more than just two wins above 500. Braves already won. Yeah, I figured. I'm not shocked by that at all. Just the fact that they lost that series alone, though, is beyond jaw-dropping to me. Like who actually thought that was going to happen, right? Nice to see the Mets beat a team under 500 consecutively. That's a good point, right? But that's how the Phillies were last year, though. The Phillies were below 500 for most of the time that the Mets played the Phillies. However, we always knew that they were better than a below 500 team, and that showed because when the Phillies got hot in the start of playoffs last year, there was no one stopping them until it was the Astros and the dance in the World Series. So the Phillies are a much better team than they're made out to be right now. I think that they have a little hangover from that deep run last year too, and I think they're going to have a very strong second half. I'm not writing them off in the slightest, but for right now, it's nice to see the Mets take care of them quite literally without a problem through these first 2 games. How's it going, Blacklisted Outdoors? A good friend of mine. Shout out all my live viewers, people watching live and on replay, all you beauties, great members, new members, previous members, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here by making sure to smash that like and subscribe button as we're breaking down another night, another Mets victory as they take game 2 of a 3-game set and secure the series victory over the Philadelphia Phillies by a final score of 4-1. Again, shout out to my good friends at Sora MLB. Make sure to click the link in the description for your chance at the Brett Beatty giveaway, in which an announcement of the winner will be picked tomorrow. And of course, we'll be doing another giveaway not long after we give away that Beatty jersey tomorrow. And of course, my good friends at Mojo Sportsbook and also at Mantis Sleep, but we'll get into them in a little bit. Right now, I do want to address some donations before we break down this game further, as again, the Mets came out tonight and they did what you needed. And to get production from the depth of the lineup from Mark Canha of all guys is huge. I mean, look, Mark Canha has not been good this season. I mean, he'll be the first to tell you that. Mark Canha is a very analytical hitter. Every time he goes through slumps, he's really looking over film and he's looking at his advanced metrics and trying to tweak his swing in any way, shape, or form that he possibly can. And Canha came into tonight and looked like a guy that had the confidence that he had so well against the same Phillies team last summer. So it's great to see Canha get on a roll the way he did. It's great for, as much as I don't want Vogelbach to be getting consistent starts at DH, I'm glad that Vogelbach was still productive in that spot at the end of the day. So overall, plenty positives to come from tonight's game while you didn't have the best catcher in baseball over the past month. And Alvarez in your starting lineup and Mark Vientos. And Marky V had a hit yesterday. He had 110, 111 mile per hour opposite field single that was so hard hit that's a reason why it was a deep single and not say a double. He did a great job, Vientos, with that hit yesterday, and I hope that we see him start in Alvarez tomorrow. CD, thank you for the donation. CD says, I think Buck often plays at the start of a series when to rest guys. I think he decided in advance Alvarez will play game 1 tomorrow's game. I'm sure that's the case too, and obviously Buck is only one guy along with the front office really having a say in these decisions. However, I'm just saying I think it's also important to think on the fly. Thankfully, it didn't blow up in the Mets' face and worked in their favor. That's awesome. But my argument at the end of the day is that, okay, if you already won game 1 of this series and you're so crucial to trying to secure series wins, make sure you have your best lineup out there for game 2. Don't even consider having a risky 7-8-9 and that being a factor into, say, you losing game 2 and then you're looking for the series dub in the rubber match. Like, if you can avoid that by any stretch by playing the guys you have on the roster, then by all means do it. But again, I will give credit where credit's due. This lineup on paper, while I didn't love it tonight, exceeded expectations in the sense it got the job done. Carlos Carrasco pitched an absolute gem. Raley, Ottavino, and Robertson all dealt with their respective jams and were able to get out of them. So you have to appreciate how great the pitching was tonight. And we know that Robertson and Ottavino are not pitching tomorrow. Raley is likely not pitching tomorrow. So you got to hope you can get 7 strong from Scherzer and whoever else is going to be available in that bullpen to pitch for you, that they can get the job done. It's great that they got the series win. That is always the most important thing. That's what we want. Now, hopefully, they can try to get themselves a series sweep tomorrow. Let's see what other donations we got here. Shout out to Dave, my great friend, great supporter here on the channel. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is okay with you. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that. I'm trying. I'd be lying if I said that I'm doing great in life right now, but you guys make my life at minimum a little bit easier and a little bit happier. So I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. And I'm going to be upfront with all you guys. This weekend, I will be a little sporadic with the content. I'm not sure if I'll be having live shows constantly or if I might just take a break for a day or two. And that will be the case for the weeks going forward, guys, just as I'm trying to, just get myself, mentally in a good spot and things right. So if you don't see me as consistent, there's a valid reason for that. I'm just letting you guys know in advance that the only thing I want to do is make sure that I'm out here and being as genuine as possible when I'm covering this team. And last thing I want to do is ever come out here and be, completely two-faced where I'm talking like this, but in reality, I have no interest or not interest, but have a lot of things going on inside that, need to be handled separately. So just giving you guys a heads up. Don't be shocked if your boy takes a little bit of time off here and there, because it's certainly going to be needed. But I appreciate all the kind words and for the support, guys. Thank you. It really does mean the world to me. James Carroll, how you doing? Great member here as well. Hey, Jack, all you guys. I did see a donation from Yoshima. He says a $2 holla. Mark Canha owns the Phillies. He does own the Phillies. And you'll love to see that, right? There's nothing better than Marky Canha, Canha Corn, whatever you want to call him, come out and do well against a team that he's just being up on for quite a bit now. So that's very, very good to see. I'm, again, very happy with Canha's performance tonight, all things considered. And what I'm also happy about is to let you guys know is, again, this is for New Jersey residents. So, again, if you guys do not reside in Jersey, this might not hold true much to you. However, Mojo Sportsbook, who's a great sponsor here on the channel, I got to let you guys know about my good friends at Mojo because they are doing great things. And I got to let you know about our exclusive offer that we're doing here on the channel. So, Mojo Sportsbook, why do I like their products so much? It is quite literally combining the stock market, whether you're using the Robinhood app or anything like that, where you could day trade or you can hold on to your stock for a while, and you're combining that with sports. You're investing into players. So I can invest in Francisco Alvarez right now for, say, $30, $40 something right now. And if Francisco Alvarez goes on to have a NL Rookie of the Year type season, then it's going to be certainly worth my ROI, the return on investment, for when I go on and eventually sell that stock at the end of the year or whenever I would choose to do so, right? So to give you guys a quick breakdown on Mojo Sportsbook and why I'm happy to have them here as a partner on the channel. And again, I don't bring on any, I get sponsorship offers weekly, guys. So if I'm talking about one on the channel, there's good reason for that. Not only because they're generous enough to be working with me and helping bring revenue in to keep things afloat with what I'm doing, but I have to genuinely like the product too. And that is the case here with Mojo Sportsbook. Again, it's the live betting stock market that's operating in New Jersey right now, but they will likely be in many other states, hopefully by the end of summer. So stay tuned for that. Every bet on Mojo offers trading, so you can get in and get out all game long. It's stock trading meets sports betting with money lines, player props, and a whole new career-long bet they've created. So the great thing too is that you don't have to just invest on players as you would do in a normal stock market type scene. You can also invest on player props, pitcher props. So last night, as an example, they had Kodai Senga at over 6.5 strikeouts at plus 111 odds. I believe it was 40 something cents. So if you put down 100, you're winning over 100 in your return. And Kodai Senga casually had 9 strikeouts last night. So you always want to hammer the over. These are some great deals that they're getting. And the thing that I love most too is not only their player props, their pitching props on the Ks that I really love personally. It is more than anything the fact that you can cash out better than any other sportsbook out there on the market. And what do I mean exactly is that the best part is that you're in total control of your bets. Cash in when you're up or cash out if it's going bad. Mojo's cash outs are available way more than any other sportsbook out there. So all you have to do is download the app now to my New Jersey Mets fan residents and use my promo code WardyNYM for 20% deposit of anything upwards of $100. So get a 20% deposit up to $100 using my promo code WardyNYM, and you can click the link in the description too to make that happen. Shout out to Mojo Sportsbook for being a great sponsor of the channel, and thank you guys for the endless support on that one. But a couple more raw thoughts I want to share on the Mets right now and what's been going on with them. Yes, they have been Jekyll and Hyde this season. Yes, it has been frustrating as all hell that we haven't gotten a lot of consistency out of them. However, what has been positives, at least, is that the Mets at home are looking sharp. They just need to start to get in a routine on the road. Not only with the Mets, but specifically with their pitching. As I stated yesterday, Kodai Senga at home is the best thing since sliced bread. He has over 1 ERA. He has 1 home run allowed and 38 strikeouts. On the road, he has over 6 ERA, allowing 5 home runs, 32 strikeouts. And you know that Kodai, the more he gets acclimated in the MLB, the better he'll be, right? It makes sense that he's thriving best at home, where he's had most reps out of all stadiums at the MLB level, coming straight from Japan overseas here to North America. So I'm not shocked by that. But once Kodai starts to get in a groove on the road, Mets are going to be cooking. You love that. Justin Verlander, we need more consistency out of him. That's another thing too. Mad Max, hopefully we get another strong start from him tomorrow. Tyler McGill, same thing applies when he pitches there against the Toronto Blue Jays. And I don't know if he's pitching against Bassett. He actually might be. I could be wrong. I have to double check it. No, Verlander I think is pitching against Bassett. Is Bassett pitching Friday? I got to double check. Let me know, guys, in the live chat, your thoughts about that. I actually don't know when Bass is pitching. I want to say it's Friday, but I could be wrong. But what I am certain of is that the Mets, while they've had these inconsistencies, while they certainly have had these struggles, the constant has been that we see the talent, we see the potential, especially with the kids driving the way in Alvarez and Beatty and Vientos and spurts, right? And hopefully sooner than later in Ronnie Mauricio too, when his time is ready to come up to the bigs and be impactful. So it's all about bringing these things together. And when we headed back home from the Cubs series loss, from the Rockies series loss, I did have a pretty good confidence heading into this Phillies series because the Mets just look comfortable at home. They're rallying off of the crowd around them. They had a great turnout last night in which I was in attendance for that Tuesday win yesterday. They had another great turnout tonight, Wednesday night, in which I think it was a bobblehead giveaway night for Howie. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I think it was a put in the books bobblehead giveaway tonight, if I'm not mistaken. And also my good friends and our partners on the channel at the 7-Line Army, shout out to Darren Meenan leading the way. They had their typical 7-line outing tonight too. So just great turnout. And again, you can tell that this team really rides momentum with their fans. And when things are going right, they are certainly going right. So hopefully we see them continue this upward direction, these positive swings of not only doing strong offensively, but pitching offensively, pitching strong rather too, as they hopefully can get a series sweep tomorrow and get a series W over the weekend against those Toronto Blue Jays who have had their fair share of struggles and ups and downs and roller coasters, if you will, this season too. Timothy, thank you so much for the $5 holla. He says, let's go. Great game. Great game indeed. Yeah, very, very happy with the outing that we got again from the Mets. And Carlos Carrasco, guys, can we please get some hype in the chat, guys? Can we spam some cookie emojis in the live chat right now? People on the replay in the comments below, go ahead and do the same. Carlos Carrasco deserves some major props with everything that's been going on with him. These past two starts have been stellar. Who would have thought that you would get any type of starts like this after what you saw Cookie to start the season? Then he was down with the bone spurs, didn't have surgery, got it numbed out basically, and he's still pitching injured. But right now he's looking sharp. So the Mets got to milk that thing dry for however long they can, because any type of quality innings from a guy that you could argue maybe shouldn't even be in this rotation at some point this season is really, really important, and it's great to see from Carrasco. Again, I've always loved Carrasco. It's not an ill will with him, but he has had his fair share of struggles. Another thing, too, he didn't even give up a first-inning run today, let alone a home run on the first inning. That's huge. Yes, he gave up the bomb to Edmundo Sosa. That just was out of reach there. Nimmo robbed a home run in that area yesterday, wasn't able to today, and Sosa was all she wrote, though. I mean, just very, very proud with what I'm seeing from Carlos Carrasco, and hopefully the Mets can get more of that for however long it may be. And William, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Let me go up in the chat for 1 second. Zachary, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Mets family, indeed. You guys are beauties. I'm loving how we're scoring runs out to Penny Lindor and Alonso. Yeah, that's huge. Again, to have Mark Canha say, you know what, I'll take over on the offense tonight is all you could, like, can we get more of that, please? You know, it's always great when you have depth the way that you got it from Canha tonight. Especially the offense overall was not good. The offense was not good tonight. We know that. Canha led the way. Vogelback getting on base a couple times led the way in that category too. But just very, very happy. And again, hopefully the Mets can continue to get depth production like this. Give credit where credit's due too. When he has been playing, Eduardo Escobar has certainly been helping, including yesterday, in which he had that RBI single up the middle, batting from the left side, in which I initially wanted Beatty to pinch hit there. But, you know, thankfully I was proven wrong. Eddie gets that big single off of Brogdon to get the insurance run to score Marte. And the Mets, of course, won yesterday by a final score of 2-0. Only allowed 2 hits. And a lot of strikeouts from Kodai Senga. Now tonight, they were out hit. However, they were the more effective team. And this is a Phillies team that we know is very boomer bust. They have a lot of power, so much potential with their lineup. Bryce Harper was, of course, effective tonight with a couple hits himself. Even their rookie first baseman has been hitting well in this series, too. So they certainly have their pieces. We know that. When the Phillies are hot, they can easily have one of the best lineups in baseball. But their pitching, their bullpen continues to have their struggles. Their rotation depth has had their struggles. So hopefully the Mets can continue to maximize on those issues the Phillies Phillies have had of recent, including tomorrow. And again, Taijuan Walker, I'm sure Ty's going to go 7 shutty against the Mets the same way that Marcus Stroman pitched a beauty against the Mets, and then he pitched a one-hitter, complete game shutout against the Rays as the next start. So they're both thriving in their own right. But Ty wouldn't shock me at all if he pitches well tomorrow. However, Taijuan has not had a good start this season. He's dealt with some forearm issues to start the year coming from the WBC, playing for Team Mexico as well. So he's a guy that the Mets know well. We know Ty, as good as he can be, he is very hittable. He is. He doesn't have any overwhelming stuff. When he can get the splitty going, that's where things tend to become a problem. Those off-speed really, really work well in his favor too. But if Ty's throwing meatballs, take advantage, because those are the same meatballs that we saw him give up many times over the past couple years. So just got to hope the Mets take advantage of, again, a friend that they have a great rapport on, a great playbook on, and we get ourselves a serious sweep tomorrow. And then, guys, also want to let you know we will be live for our podcast tomorrow, Queen's Corner. Myself and Anthony Recker. Recker is back from Disneyland. So we'll be he actually went to Disney World this time. So we'll have a great time talking shop, probably around 8:30 tomorrow night. Not sure if I'll do a post-game show tomorrow. It'll be indicative on how the game goes and honestly how I'm feeling, because I know I'm doing the podcast tomorrow night as is. And then over the weekend, we'll see what the content looks like. But again, giveaway winner will be announced tomorrow on socials, on the community tab, and also re-announced once more in our post-game show or podcast tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. Dave, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Dave says, when Vogie bats, just put a jelly donut on second. He'll get there. Oh, let's be nice. Let's be nice to Vogie. I appreciate that donation a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really does mean a lot. You're an absolute beauty, Dave. You've always been. Guys, Dave is such a not only OG follower of the channel, but he's been beyond generous. The shirt I'm wearing as we speak that says WardyNYM on the back, which I always get compliments from people asking, Wardy, where did you get that shirt? I'm like, my buddy Dave sent it to me. He was beyond generous to send it to me. So shout out to you again. I really appreciate that for your beyond generosity over the years, and it was great to finally meet you a week or so ago, Dave. You're a beauty. Take the day off tomorrow, Wardy. I mean, I gotta do the podcast tomorrow, but if it's not a crazy dub tomorrow, I might not do post game. So we'll see. To be continued. But I appreciate that. Maybe Carrasco was pitching hurt beginning of the year. Oh, he was. He absolutely was. That's why he got shut down. Carrasco's still pitching hurt now. Don't get it twisted. Just because he's not in physical pain doesn't mean that he doesn't have an ailment. He has bone spurs. He didn't have surgery to remove them or shave them down. They just gave him like a cortisone shot or whatever you want to call it and numb the area and then get him back to feeling good. So he's going to get constant treatment on that for any time that he starts to, feel that stabbing pain. It feels like a knife in your elbow when it's happening. It's not a good feeling. But yeah, Cookie's been pitching hurt all year long. So he's going to ride that forever long he can, and hopefully as long as he doesn't feel physical pain on the daily, it'll lead to the Mets having more success with them. But yeah, I love the cookie emojis in the chat too. But guys, before we get out of here, you know the drill. I got to tell you all about our beautiful sponsor, last but not least, that being in our good friends at Manta Sleep. Many of you guys know Manta Sleep, but for those that don't know, they're the best sleep masks on the market. I'm not just gassing them up because they're a great supporter and sponsor here on the channel. As I mentioned already, I only bring on sponsors of people's products who I thoroughly enjoy. Also, as you see the Steve Cohen photo of him and I got to get the clippings from when I was quoted in the post throughout the offseason, even though the Mets didn't get Correa. I'm going to frame that part of it too. I met Tia Alex yesterday. I forgot to tell you guys that. I'll explain it after the ad read, but you guys know the drill. Manta Sleep, an absolute beauty of a sponsor, the best sleep masks, the most affordable ones on the market. I sleep with their Sleep Mask Pro every single night, beyond affordable. This is their best seller. Get it at a nice price as well. And again, all you got to do is click the link in the description and use my promo code WARDY for 10% off. We've had many of you guys that are either members, new subscribers, or loyal subscribers that haven't for a while that have purchased their product, have DM me over Twitter telling me how much you like it. I've heard a lot of raving reviews. As we look at the product a little bit further on what you're getting there, look how happy she is. I'd be happy too if I'm repping Manta Sleep the way she is. But you have the sound mask, you have the Pro Mask. The sound mask, you can play Bluetooth. Again, if you want to listen to Radiohead at night because you're a creep, or if you want to sing some Frank Sinatra because why wouldn't you? Or if you want to listen to some freaking whales at night, maybe if you're even, on a plane and there's a lot of turbulence and you're trying to block things out along with not having your eyes messed up because, again, you have no light coming in from the great mask, but you also have a lot of sound coming in the way. That's where the Bluetooth mask comes into play. Great beauty that is. And I'm a creep, right? And then you get yourself a weighted mask that I've heard a lot of good reviews about that one. The cool mask for a hot summer night like tonight where I'm doing these late post-game shows. I want to go to bed nice and cool. You got to use the Manta Cool Mask. Gives you cooling around your eye sockets. Or on the flip side, if you want to use something that's going to give you heat heat around your eye sockets, especially during the winter time for people on the East Coast, the Manta Steam Mask is what you want. So again, shout out Manta Sleep for being great sponsors on the channel. Make sure to click the link in the description using my promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase. Again, that is promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase. And shout out again for Manta Sleep for being great sponsors here on the channel. But what I did want to say just a second ago, guys, is that when I attended yesterday's game, again, I was sitting behind home plate, but more to the left, so more by the Phillies dugout side. I got there early. As soon as I walk in, guess who's right there? Listen to this, guys. I didn't even tell you. Brody Van Wagenen talking with Joel Sherman and John Morosi. So I go up to Brody right away. I introduce myself. You know, I give him a quick hello. I don't have an ill will with Brody, besides the fact that he thought that Rick Porcello and Michael Walker were proper substitutes for Zach Wheeler, which will always bother me. Fucking nonsense, pardon my French. I don't know how much Brody is to blame there versus just the Wilpons not wanting to give out a 3-figure contract to someone, which wouldn't shock anyone. So he was their puppet. I'm aware of that. But Brody was right there, so I talked with them. Brody was very nice, even though that I'm sure that, you know, I'm going to just leave it at that. John Morosi was very nice too. Joel Sherman was, you know, like he was a schmuck. I'm going to be honest. Joel was a schmuck. He just stared at me like this. And I just looked at him and I just went, Joel, hand shook him. John with a smile on my face. John Morosi's like a sweetheart. I've always liked him. You never see John Morosi upset. Joel's the type of guy where I feel like you could literally just like flick air by him and he's going to want to write an article saying how pissed off he is about it. I don't know. You know, it could be wrong. But again, it was very funny to meet them. And then later on, I saw Tia Alex, and finally got a chance to talk to Mrs. Cohen herself. Absolute sweetheart, first and foremost. Really, really sweet. Exactly what you'd expect. I know many of you guys have met her already. Just absolute beauty. Had nothing but great things to say about her. Told her how appreciative I am, of course, of both her and Steve, not only buying the team, but just bringing consistent expectations and excitement back to the park and everything that she's doing in the surrounding communities as well. Again, really, really nice to finally meet her for the first time. Got a photo. I posted it on Twitter too. But yeah, it really is nice to have owners that like genuinely care. I know that we know that from the beginning, but it was also nice too how as soon as I start the conversation with her, she literally said to me, you know, that like previous ownership, you know, wasn't very good. She looked at me, she's like, we all know that previous ownership wasn't very good and they were hard to work with. I'm like, honey, like I know, like every Mets fans knows what it was like being part of the Wilpons, whether you're a younger fan like me or if you were a fan that went through it all with the Wilpons pre and post Bernie Madoff situation. And that's, of course, the biggest stem behind everything that happened with the Wilpons for those that aren't aware. So it was funny to see her kind of bring that up right away because it shows the true fan in her. And it shows, you know, the true fandom that Steve, of course, has from the great conversation I had with him back in January. But just, you really can't ask for much better on what you're getting from the Mets ownership right now. They're doing all they can. Yes, we maybe haven't loved every single decision, but that's normal. What Steve and Alex have both been able to do in their own right in such a short period of time has been nothing short of a godsend. People like to nitpick certain things, but I'm like, do you realize that the only reason why this team even has expectations, let alone high ones, is because of Steve Cohen? So you're never going to catch me talking shit on Steve anytime soon. That's for sure. I just hope that the Mets again have a great season. And, you know, as he continues to learn as a new owner, making sure that he knows when to cut people off and he knows when to bring people on. And that's where I'll kind of leave things at that. But Dave, thank you for the $5. He says, maybe Nito will learn where first base is if they put an eye chart there. Maybe, you know, that's a good question. He's not going to be on the team past a week from now, I have a feeling. How often do I check my P.O. box? Fairly often, Z, which reminds me, I do need to check it soon because I haven't in a couple weeks now, but at least a couple weeks, if not a month. So I got to double check my P.O. box. If you sent anything, thank you so much in advance. I appreciate that. I definitely got to check up on that. Timothy, though, says, and I'll, of course, shout you out if you send anything my way. I'll make sure to make that happen. Did you happen to see any bright lights sitting in the 7-line section? I didn't sit in the 7-line section, Tim. I haven't yet this season, but I will be for sure. I know that you have those dope athlete logos, the athlete logos LFGM necklace, which is I'm sure what you're referring to. And I hope to see you in person with the 7-line this season, as I'll be attending some outings with them, including I'll be in Philly with them when they're in Philly. And I want to say June 24th. I'm planning to go with Wrecker, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So, Tim, if you're going to be there, make sure you're repping the chain per usual. But shout out to you for being a beauty and a great member. But, guys, with that being said, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank you all so much for watching live and on replay. It really, really does mean a lot. And, again, thank you so much for being supportive and always being there for me, guys, especially in times like right now where I do kind of need it. So, really, really know that it does not go unnoticed, and I appreciate all your support more than you will ever imagine. Mets win by a final score of 4-1 tonight. They get the series dub. Now they look for the series sweep tomorrow when Mad Max in the bump. Have a great night, folks, day, evening, whenever you're watching this. And this is Wardy signing out.